If your business got shut down, you had COVID, had to quarantine, that's up to $511 a day.
How much per person is available?
Up to $32,220 per person. We've literally made it too easy for people.
So basically, if you were around during COVID and you were affected by COVID, which everybody was, you probably qualify. Which means if you're listening to this podcast, you probably got 32 G's coming back you don't even know about, and now you do. What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio, folks. As always, I got a real treat for you, especially if you guys like money. Today, Ryan Umina in the house.
Brad, thanks so much for having me, man. Great to see you.
Well, dude, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you had the time to be here. In your line of work, I would be like amazed that you even have a second.
I'm running all over the place. I'm very, very fortunate to, own a law firm, but my wife is also an attorney, so she picks up a lot of slack for me right now.
So if you guys ever get divorced, how does that work?
She can just win. You know what I mean?
Two lawyers, like if you guys get divorced, you're both kind of like in a headlock.
That's why I got to stay on my best behavior, Brad.
Folks, if you guys don't know this dude, CEO of SETC Pros, which is a financial technology company helping self-employed individuals recover pandemic-era tax credits. In a nutshell, guys, if you guys remember, I brought you ERC, and a lot of you guys got paid back money that the government was just technically giving away as a tax credit. Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, now it's the same thing, but for 1099 employees.
Yeah, 1099 employees, anyone really Schedule C income, and it's from the same legislation, right? The same bill that brought the ERC brought this. It's just, these were giant spending bills, like multi-trillion dollars. And, they were passed, but they're not going to go out and advertise
Alert
them.
you.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So again, guys, listen, if you guys worked during pandemic as a 1099 or a C schedules.
Yeah. Small business owners, 1099 contractors, a lot of partnerships are eligible. It's that self-employment income. It's like 40 to 80 million Americans.
How much per person is available?
Yeah. So up to $32,220 per person.
Yeah, so if you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend or it doesn't matter, couple or not.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, and married couples too, like if both fall into that category and both had to miss days, they're eligible for like 60 up to $64,000. It's insane.
Yeah, so folks, let's just get this out of the way because then we can just shoot the shit. Right now, all you want to know is how do I get my money back? Well, you go to setcpros.com. Pretty simple.
That's right. And, what we did, Brad, and the reason that we've been able to help so many people is we have completely streamlined this process. So we have, eliminated most of the friction that someone would have in trying to check their eligibility. First off, checking their eligibility with us is always free. Second, all they have to do, answer the questions and then verify their identity. We're in amazing strategic partnerships. We don't need them to upload their old tax documents. We pull everything we need directly from the IRS. So we have hard and fast. We know very specifically, do they have the type of income that qualifies? We have it officially from their tax transcript, and then we're able to calculate the official amount from there. So we've literally made it too easy for people.
And what years were these?
Yeah, so specifically, you're looking at time missed in 2021. And how that works is it's broken down into the first quarter of 21 and then the second 2 quarters of 21 combined. And so first credit you have is the sick leave credit. So that is if your business got shut down, you had COVID, had to quarantine, really broad, and our website explains this fully, really broad stroke COVID problems, right? That's up to $511 a day. So you have 10 days in the first quarter and then 10 days in the second 2 quarters combined. Then you have the family leave credit. Now that is daycare shut down, school shut down, kid has COVID, kid has to quarantine.
Well, dude, that's all of us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's $200 a day for a total between the two time periods of 110 days. So you're talking, it's like 20 like 22,000 max on those right there.
So essentially, and maybe you can't say it, but I can.
Yeah.
So, because I say it just regular with no worry of liability.
Yeah.
So basically, if you were around during COVID and you had to, and you were affected by COVID, which everybody was,
Absolutely.
you probably qualify.
Yeah. As long
Which means if you're listening to this podcast, you probably got 32 G's coming back that you're not filing for, you don't even know about, and now you do. So I would say go to SETC, just like, Samuel, Edward, Trailer, Charles. I don't know the military.
nailed it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, like SETC pros.com and just fill out their little form. It's not even a long one.
No, 15 minutes.
And you don't need to upload tax returns and do all this nonsense. And more than likely, it's going to go, ching, you got $32,000 coming back. And now get your wife to do it. Get your son to do it. Get your brother to do it. Get your uncle to do it. Get everybody to do it, because more than likely, everybody is damn near qualified. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the COVID scandal.
Yeah.
And I still say it was a scandal. And now everybody's starting to realize, Brad Lee was right, because I was talking shit from day one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now look, everybody, like the other day, my buddy calls me. He goes, yeah, I should have listened to you on that one. I'm like, well, no shit, dude. They wanted you to get that frickin' jab too damn badly. Like they were talking about frickin' we'll give you a hamburger if you come and get a shot. It's like, what? Why are they begging people like this? Didn't make sense. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing, and I don't want to talk about it. Otherwise, they might get it suppressed. This is news that has to travel. Because, dude, I like getting people back money. I had a guy here come in here a while back. It was ERC. Like you said, similar to this, but for businesses, not people.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I don't, is he sure? And dude, millions were received from my listeners. My listeners responded just like they will on this. Because there's a lot of people out there that were working on 1099 income. Yeah. And I guarantee you that they either had COVID or were affected by COVID and were shut down. I mean, the business is shut down, which means they had to go home. If they had to go home, they're qualified.
Exactly.
Well, they forced everybody home.
Yeah.
I think this is their payback. This is their sorry.
It is. It is. It was so disruptive for everybody. The cool thing, too, because it was so long ago, the IRS actually pays interest on this as though they overpaid their taxes in, 2022 for 2021. So we just had a guy the other day calls, got $25,000 and then another $5,000 in carried interest on top of it. And his accountant had told him, I already claimed this for you. Didn't want to take credit for not having done it. And, he calls us and we're like, sir, the IRS wouldn't process this if your accountant already claimed it for you. And additionally, our system checks to see if you've already claimed this credit, and you absolutely didn't claim this credit. And that's why you just got the guy had got the check. It's like, that's why you just got a $30,000 check in the mail.
I'm going to go do it, and I don't even care.
Yeah.
But I bet you anything I qualify because, dude, I had W-2 income. And I had 1099 income.
Yep.
And I know lots of people with it.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people that are making 1099 income. Matter of fact, I had people here that were on a 1099 situation.
Yep. And that, that's something that a lot of people ask, Brad. They're like, okay, what if I had, a W-2 job and then a 1099 gig? Absolutely qualified.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely qualified.
It's because as long as you had 1099 income.
Yes. And one of the coolest things that we're able to do, so the IRS, processing times can vary on processing these, right? It could take 4 to 6 months. But with us, which has been really amazing for our customers, as long as their credit's at least $3,000 and they're not in Colorado or Iowa, we can get over 70% of the money in their pocket within about a week. Right now, we have people getting on there, never heard of us in their life. And a week later, they're getting $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 that they just didn't know about. Right. So it's incredible.
Yeah. So even if you did know about it, but you didn't do anything about it, that's what I would say. Let's pull the trigger on this. SETC pros.com. and get my boy Ryan and his squad to get you some capital.
Absolutely.
Now, what can you do with it? It's not a loan, it's a credit.
Here's the most beautiful thing about all of it, right? The money that you get back in terms of the credit, it's a fully refundable, non-taxable thing. So if you get $20,000 back, right, it's non-taxable $20,000 because it's a refund as though you overpaid your taxes. Now the interest, so like let's say someone gets 20, let's say they filed their taxes prior to the filing deadline, didn't extend, they're going to probably have accrued about 20% interest right now, somewhere in that ballpark. So they end up about 24. The 4,000 is taxable in the next tax year, right? But the interest on it, but the credit itself is non-taxable. But that extra money, the Crown always gets their fee.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You give me 24, I'll give you tax on 4.
No problem. I'll take that deal any day.
So you're just running around the country now, like sharing this, getting people their money back, probably going from spot to spot to spot.
Yes, sir.
Slammed.
Just left Florida. We were down there, hitting many of the news stations throughout Florida. And then now we're here visiting with you.
Yeah, because folks, think about it. The government is not going to tell you over and over and over. They're not going to take out radio commercials and TV commercials to let you know, hey, we have billions and trillions of dollars sitting here that you could technically claim if you just file your damn papers.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I tell them. It's like, they're not going to advertise it and they're not just going to like guess at how many days you missed. So all you have to do is come to our website, tell us the days that you missed, verify your identity. You don't even need to upload anything. And we made it too easy for people. And that was our objective all along. We just wanted to get as many people, as much money as possible. So we created a system to do that. And it's working out extremely well.
What about ERC? There's still people that still haven't filed for that.
Absolutely. So, and the folks that, many folks that started the company with us, assisted in getting hundreds of millions of dollars in ERC credits for people. So we also have ERTC, Employee Retention Tax Credit, ERTCrefund.com. And with that, you have until mid-April 2025 to get that in. And then if it's after that and you have a pending ERC claim, and you're sick of waiting on the money, we have some great financial partners that can help get the majority of that money in your pocket right now. So just ERTCrefund.com. Check it out. If it's before the filing deadline, happy to help. And if it's after and you're pending and would like to stop waiting on money, we can help with that too.
So whether it's ERC or this new SETC.
Correct.
And by the way, folks, look at it like if you had a business, that's the ERC. If you're an individual that worked for a business or just worked for yourself in a 1099 capacity or self-employed capacity, dude, you probably got 30 G's sitting waiting for you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of LLC owners who, true, C corps and such. You're not going to be able to qualify based on that kind of income. But there are owners of LLCs who are still going to be qualified. There are people in partnerships qualified, and then everyone getting 1099 and so on and so forth. So again, it's probably
what about K1s?
Depends. Right.
See, I'm just going to go fill it out and see what it says. Will it say, yes, you're qualified?
Yeah, it'll tell you officially. I'm going to
have my wife do it.
Yeah,
she don't make any direct income, but everything she does is 1099.
Yeah, exactly. And you definitely should have her run through it. And, one of the things that we've made it like too easy to do, much like when you go to irs.gov and log in your website with ID.me, we're partnered with ID.me. When you go to our website and answer the questions, and we do what's called an 8821. So an 8821, we do that with a partner chart, and that just gives us the ability to monitor the claim like as it goes on, but then to get everything instantly done, and it's very secure, one-time tokenized. It's right there in their customer portal. They'll click the button. It is exactly what you see when you go to log in the IRS's website, ID.me, IRS. It's the same login to log into your IRS account, and you just type that in. It creates a secure tokenized one-time thing. We grab the numbers, only store those for a very minimal amount of time, and we can handle everything just like that.
And what would you say to skeptical people right now listening to this going, but I don't want to get in any trouble with the IRS.
Okay. So, average customer refunds for folks, especially if they don't have kids, you're only going to be looking at 5, 6, 7,000, something like that. Folks with kids, they can really get those larger amounts and had to miss. It is so unbelievably unlikely that the IRS over something at this number, when you look at the ERC, there were some actual bad actors in that, right? People making up fake companies.
Yeah, but they were fraudulent.
Exactly. The IRS is very busy with that. There are a total of $600 billion in ERC claims that need to be paid. This was a multi-trillion dollar spending bill. It's at least still 500 that they haven't paid, I would estimate. This tax credit, I don't even think $2 billion has been claimed, and they have tens of billions available. I'm talking 1% to 2% of people eligible might even know about it, let alone applied for it. And I would tell you this, out of the tens and tens and tens of thousands of these that have been processed through our systems, okay, maybe 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 500, the IRS sends them a communication versus just paying it, right? And literally almost every single time it is they messed up filing when they initially filed. And so something just needs to be corrected. And when that happens, we have a massive network of enrolled agents and CPAs, and we just escalate it. It's no additional cost to the customer. We take care of all that. We take care of all the tax work that needs to get done. And I haven't seen any errors where they've gotten, something's gone sideways because of something we did. Again, it was an error in the initial filing. And then some agents, it's human error. Like, there are good IRS agents and there are less good IRS agents. And some of them don't understand or misinterpret things or whatever, but have no worry about that. It's you have about a 1 in 1,000 or worse chance. And if that comes up, we sick the accountants on it and we get everyone squared away.
And your guys and your lawyers.
Yeah, we're lawyers. We have CPAs that are also equity owners. And then on the tech side, because, we really, to do this, had to make it as technologically savvy as possible because of the volume. There's so many people. And we have amazing, our 4th largest equity owner owns a software development company that works with massive companies. A lot of Fortune 500 companies, does projects with them. Our CTO, 25-year systems engineer vet. We really have some talent in our company, and we've done everything at the highest regard. So while we're lawyers, we have also, retained outside counsel at one of the largest law firms in the United States. It's actually the largest, I believe, in California and definitely in LA. We use their DC office, and we had them go through everything that we do and make sure we do everything as properly as we possibly can. So
it's just a cash register
for America.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we were attempting to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, that's all the people need to hear. We could end it after 18 minutes, which is not normal, and you'd probably get one of the most reactions ever. But I want to find out, and again, guys, if you're paying attention, just put the phone down, go to setcpros.com, fill out his damn form, and it'll tell you whether you're qualified. You don't have to upload anything. I would just say, tell the damn truth and see what you got coming. If you don't have anything coming, move on. If you do, hit cash out and hit their button and get your damn money back. Dude, we've been paying into the government for a long time, bro. Mm-hmm. Anytime shit like this comes up, I'm first in line. Why? Because it's time to get it back. And dude, this is a fraction of what we've paid in. We've paid in so many taxes over the years, Social Security, FICA, this, that, and the other thing. Dude, it's about time to get some back. And when something happens like this, like COVID, you couldn't help. Dude, they forced you to shut down. They forced you to take time off. Now, if you took time off, coincidentally, they're paying you, but they're not running around telling everybody about it. It's just there in the records, in the law. It's completely legal. all you got to do is go register and file for your credit and you get paid. They're just not going to tell you about it because they don't necessarily want everybody to do it. But guess what? It's all there. So 3 years from now, when it's over, oh, you didn't get your tax credit. Yeah, we had a tax credit for that.
Yeah.
Again, it's passed in the back of these bills. ERC, I thought was bullshit until I saw massive amounts of people get money back. And again, yeah, there were some bad actors scamming. Don't lie, don't commit fraud. But guess what? If you were out of your office or out of employment during COVID, who wasn't?
Yeah.
They shut us down.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you go anywhere. They wouldn't let you do anything. Now, maybe you were one of those companies that were allowed to stay open and working like Amazon.
Yeah.
Maybe you're Jeff Bezos. You don't get one, Jeff. I'm serious. Like, dude, maybe you weren't shut down. Maybe you were one of those, what would they call them?
Essential service.
Yeah, essential. Maybe you were essential service and you didn't get shut down. You didn't miss any time off. Oh, well, I'd still fill out the form just in case. Because if it says bink, they're going off your tax transcripts. Mm-hmm. So that's what's beautiful about the IRS. They have transcripts. So if I were a business owner, I would always extend personally and then wait and see what their transcripts say.
Yeah. And so here's a great thing too with this, Brad, is everyone that filed an extension, which Schedule C filers, about 40% did in that tax year, they all have 3 years, and we might have touched on this, but 3 years from when they filed or 2 years from when they paid the taxes off, whichever is later, right? Whichever is a longer time. So, for a lot of folks, really need to hurry up, check their eligibility if they did not file an extension. But, there's going to be a really nice chunk of people that are still going to be eligible like through October. And our systems are able to check for that. We know the filing date. We know all these things. So there's no risk of, we're filing something and it's out of time or this or that. We have all of those data points and we use them to do this as efficiently as possible.
And you guys have also created some financiers, folks. What that means in layman's terms is if you don't want to wait for your money, give up a little piece of it, I'm sure. And there's people with money and they'll wait for you. So you basically sign over, or you sign something, I'm sure, that when your money comes, they get it, and they'll give you most of it right now.
Yep. That's it. Nailed it, Brad.
Which is basically, hey, you don't want to wait 6 months for your 30 G's? I'll give you a good chunk of it, and I'll wait, and, dude, you get your money in a week.
Yeah.
And it's found money, so who cares? Like, you got to be a real greedy bastard if you're going to wait 6 months just to get every last dime of it, when in reality, you didn't even know it existed.
No.
It's found money. You don't remember phone booths? You guys are too young.
I do. I was around.
Dude, you could stick your finger in a phone booth every once in a while and find yourself a dime or something.
Yeah.
And vending machines all the time. And I'd always get lucky. I'd always walk by a vending machine and I'd go, and all of a sudden there's like change in there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, dude. It's like found money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's go with you and your wife are lawyers.
Yep.
Now, how old were you when you decided I'm going to be a lawyer?
I was probably about 22, 23. So for me, I was, I did like my first freshman year of school and then spent some time in the Navy and then went back to school, and it was far more successful the second time. And so when, I was an undergrad at the University of Illinois. That's where I ended up at. And realized I always had the ability to speak well, right? And then, decided to go down the path of law, and I was a little more mature and educated myself about that.
Well, again, if I could start all over, I'd always go get a law degree, just because, like, to me, that's almost like an advantage.
If I could give, especially a lot of listeners that don't really know, and maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, I cannot tell you how much of a competitive advantage I have as an entrepreneur, being an attorney, and it's not even for the obvious reasons that you think. I would actually, like, if someone's young and doesn't know what to do and has any inkling to be an attorney, go become an attorney and go be a public defender for about 3 years. And the reason that I say that is this: you will develop an immense amount of humility. You will have the opportunity to try cases, and trying cases, if you can develop yourself into that, and you can try cases and win, especially criminal cases, because you already have 2 strikes against you when you walk in. This guy's arguably committed a crime. The government says he did, and they're going to bring a parade of people in there to say that they did. And if you can get up there and develop the skills to be calm under pressure, to think on your feet, to do all of these different things, when we sit here now in business and, things get bigger and bigger, or like something seems like catastrophic, it's like, I've tried murder cases. We're just talking about a little bit of money here. And that skill set to be able to be calm when everything, that's what entrepreneurship is. I mean, I don't have to tell you, Brad, but, to any listeners, especially young ones, as you really start building that up, and especially scaling organizations, your job is to problem solve all day, every day. And sometimes you're going to come into moments that, you feel like it could be completely catastrophic. And I think a lot of people have, what I've seen in a lot of companies, especially young companies and young entrepreneurs, they just can't emotionally regulate themselves well enough when they deal with conflict, and when they deal with conflict with each other. And to have that skill set from being an attorney and being in those things. And listen, don't get me wrong. When I came out and a young lawyer, I was like a little too ignorant to know any better, and I had a big chip on my shoulder, and I was a lot of piss and vinegar. And the evolution, and it served me well at times, but it wasn't the most ideal way to be, right? But that's probably a lot of nerves. And, I just had to make it. I had something to prove. And then, you go win some trials, and you develop some litigation capital, and get your wits about you. And then to be able to take not only the analytical thinking skills, the basic understanding of, how businesses function and operate, how laws function and operate, to have that, but then most importantly on the conflict resolution side of things, what battles am I really going to have in business? Is this worth, when I have somebody losing their mind at me, whether it be someone in the organization or someone outside the organization. And I mean, I can just sit there and I'm not gonna react to that, and I'm just gonna take it in. I'm able to de-escalate things, intense situations, and not react to them. So, I just can't tell you the skills that one gains from that. And then just have an exit strategy, or do it, a little bit until you really figure out what you're doing. But a lot of skills that are highly, highly advantageous in entrepreneurship.
Well, even reading your own agreements, drafting your own agreements.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much we save on being able to read and draft our own agreements.
Or if somebody screws you, you can bury them in legal paperwork where they got to write a check to a lawyer, and you are one, which means you can file everything yourself, and it really doesn't cost that much. Like these lawyers, everybody knows, charges an arm and a damn leg for all this bullshit, and all it is their knowledge. Now it's like, well, that's all? Well, yeah, but I mean, that's why they make all that money, because like if I got buried with 5 complaints, I hand them to you, you and her go through them, you charge me. Well, it's obviously fair if you get me, defended properly, or what's the other side?
Sue and being a plaintiff.
Yeah, like whatever lawyers do. Again,
yeah.
To me, the knowledge, it's not. It doesn't cost you money to defend. It just costs you time. And time is what lawyers bill for.
Exactly.
Which means, folks, when I need these guys to read my contract, they go, that was an hour, when it could have been 20 minutes. Uh-huh. It could have been read by a junior and a junior lawyer. And guess what? It's legalese. If you know the law, you can read contracts, you can sign contracts, and you could literally bury someone in paperwork where they would go broke trying to just keep up with what you guys are slinging them at them for fun.
I have forms already. I'll just take an old letter that I did. I'll take an old thing. I'll just copy paste. This took me 20 minutes. You can go pay $5,000 to respond to that. And have to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what freaking. I wish I was an attorney. And sometimes I'd be like, buddy, you'd be toast if I was an attorney.
Yeah, and you know the other nice thing is when people do know that, they're a little less quick on the draw to try anything silly with you, because they know you're just. It's just not going to work out well unless they want to pay a lot of money. And again, when we have conflicts, it's like. You can just be a lot more calm because people can't really screw you around. You know, maybe you're fighting with a vendor, they're trying to, you know, bend you over a barrel or any number of things like that, you know, or you got a marketer go sideways on you, and people just, you don't have to fight as much. It's nice. I highly recommend it to anyone who kind of doesn't know what they want to do.
How long does it take? Like if you studied your ass off?
Undergrad, I mean, someone could finish undergrad quickly, especially if, let's say, someone's in high school. I mean, start knocking out basic courses, like go to a community college and knock out as many classes as you can. And then, you know, law school, so you have finish an undergraduate degree, which someone can do, you know, depending on how much they can knock out, 3 to 4 years. And then law school, 3 years, but there's some programs that they're trying to do like accelerated with that. And here's the other thing I'll say, right? I mean, don't go to like, you don't have to go to an Ivy League law school to be a good lawyer. And in fact, many of the best trial lawyers in the United States did not go to anything like that. One of the best trial teams in the country goes and whips everyone at the American Bar Association things in law school. Stetson down in Florida. And, you know, if you look at the rankings, they're like a tier 2, tier 3. It's a private school, Stetson. They will send one team to one region, and these are nationwide tournaments. Every law school in the country, they'll send another team to another region, and they'll go whip everybody in the entire country, and then they'll face each other at the nationals from one same law school that is, you know, if you look at rankings, I don't want to insult Stetson at all. I don't know what they're ranked, but it's not in the top 25, right? Not in the top 30, maybe even further down the list than that. And there's a ton of schools like that. You know, what you want is, especially if you're looking to go this route, is, you know, just practical experience. And, you know, going and working at, you know, a white shoe firm from an Ivy League school, you're not going to be very quick to be in courtrooms. And when you can get opportunities in, you know, not quite that big, but still, I mean, very significant cases, no less significant than any other case. And I mean, we've been involved in tons of nationally covered cases. The experience that you can get doing that, it's unmatched. I mean, just your own personal development and then speaking skills and everything, but you got to push yourself outside the box. Plus, I do want to say this, one's ability to read and write, I think when you get to a certain place, unless you have someone great who can do it for you, is critical. Being able to express yourself through spoken word, or even like, okay, you want to put up a website for a business. Yeah, you can have copywriters do it, but you want to be able to like, know, is your grammar and punctuation correct? There are people who will come and look at your business, and if that stuff's not right, that you immediately have no credibility whatsoever because your grammar and punctuation's off. And that's not everybody, but there are a lot of consumers like that.
All you got to do is throw in a notwithstanding.
That's it. Heretofore, no. Notwithstanding is some good legal jargon. And I'll tell you this too.
Nobody even knows what that means. You can say a sentence like da 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 da. Notwithstanding, it's like, does that mean? What does that mean? Like notwithstanding. You know,
the new school thought in law schools is they kind of train you to write, you know, plain English. But you know, even your old professors will tell you, you know, sometimes they just put that fluff in there to make it, you know, seem like they're getting what they paid for. You know what I'm saying? Those legalese.
What does notwithstanding mean?
So, despite what I just said, right?
That's what I thought. So why? So why do you even say that? What you just said?
They gotta earn the big bucks, Brad. They gotta justify.
There was one that I was reading. It was like, you know, I can't. Like, let's say, transfer this lease into anyone else's name, notwithstanding I can transfer this name. And I'm like, what the fuck does this say?
They might have just dropped the notwithstanding on you in there. You know what I mean?
Did.
They're just.
What other words like that are there?
Yeah. Okay. Unless, right? So notwithstanding, my co-counsel off the screen here said unless.
Just means unless.
I really always took it differently than unless, but she's the brains of the operation.
Did you guys meet in law school?
We did meet in law school. We were not together in law school. I'll tell you a quick story how this all came to be. So I started my own firm. You know, I turned 33, and I was like, I'm taking my life into my own hands this year. Like, I'm not like I'm taking my life in my own hands. And so started a law firm, and Buddy actually helped me out. And so started a law firm, and like a week or two later, I don't even think it was a week or two later, she just happened to be, she was working as in-house counsel for like a large like site remediation, demolition company, pretty big company. And she was like corporate counsel, and she was looking to do her own thing and sees my office and just kind of pops in and is like, hey, looking to start a law firm. You know, how do you do it? And I was like, well, I already did all this stuff. I was like, I don't have any money to pay you, but, you know, I'll give you half of whatever you bring in and a quarter of whatever I give you, or a third or something like that. And I was like, if you want to quit, you can start. Here's an office. And she quit her job. And it was a good paying job. And she quit her job. And, you know, we started working together and started, and we just, you know, I thought it'd be there my first year, like writing. I hired a girl that just graduated from the junior college program in like legal assistant. So like I hired this girl, and I think it's just gonna be like me and her. I'm gonna be writing like training manuals and, you know, just kind of barely have anything to do. And we just absolutely, you know, exploded very, very quickly. And, you know, with her, it was very important, you know, to me. I was like, I'm just, you know, acknowledging, okay, I'm a guy. I'm in an apparent position of power. Everyone's getting Me Too'd right now. And I'm like, and not that that mattered, but I was like, I'm just going to like, you know, I think she's going to be great. She was a gymnast her whole life, like elite level, highly competitive. So I was like, you know, an elite level gymnast is someone who you put out there on the floor, perform, and they go. And
notwithstanding.
Yeah. So, you know, and I mean, I was just like, you know, this girl's a badass. Like, so, you know, happy to have you. And then I just didn't hit on her, Brad, for months. I just didn't hit on her. And that's how we ended up married.
Played hard to get.
Basically.
I just kept it cool. I was just supporting her career. And then one day,
but the whole time you were thinking she's a gymnast.
Oh, she's so attractive. I mean, you know, my friends are still blown away. They're like, we don't know how you pulled it off. Especially all the guys I went to law school
with.
with.
Where was this? Illinois?
No, I was actually in Morgantown, West Virginia. Shout out West Virginia, go Mountaineers. That's where we went to law school. So yeah, it's a big college town, about an hour south of Pittsburgh.
Are you guys, like if you walked into a room full of lawyers that were from Harvard, would they look down upon you because you went there? Do Harvard and Yale law students look at you like,
Okay, so when I was in law school, yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think it was
Do they teach a different law there or just better professors? Like, why is that so prestigious? Is it just prestige?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole exclusivity of it. And I mean, the reality of getting into law school, and I think some of them might even be getting rid of, you know, like the LSAT and stuff. It's like, well, if you come from a family and your parents pay for you to do test prep for like 2 years and get you a private LSAT tutor, and you had private tutors in undergrad, you probably have a pretty good shot. And especially like when your uncle went there or your dad, right? And I'm not knocking any of them. I have tons of buddies that went to excellent schools, Ivy League schools. But yeah, when we would go to trial competitions, so I really worked hard at being a trial lawyer even in law school. So I was on these traveling teams each semester. And yeah, you'd get all sorts of, you know, little comments and things like that. But you know, where it stands now and like how life looks now, a lot of those folks, and a lot of them do amazing things, or they go into government or, you know, really cool positions. But a lot of them get the golden handcuffs on, and, you know, they're working freaking 16 hours a day, 6 days a week to, they come out and make $250. And it's like, yeah, when you're in law school and you're not an entrepreneur, you're like, and I'm not knocking anyone that makes, less than that or anything, but like you can make $250,000 a year a lot easier than working, in the manner in which that those young associates have to work for like 10 years to make themselves a partner, hopefully one day.
Why wouldn't they just start their own firm?
They should, and I think a lot of them do, and you're seeing that a lot more, right? You're seeing that a lot more. Law school admissions are down, tests are down, and
why do you think that is?
Because people understand that the path afterwards isn't so necessarily awesome.
Yeah,
right?
but again, the law degree, the education, I think is worth it.
100%.
Like the degree in most cases, I'm like, who cares? You don't need a degree. Mm-hmm. The education, even if I didn't get a degree, the education as a lawyer is worth it.
Yeah, and if you can pass the bar, right, it opens a whole number of other doors. I can do, let me give you an example, right? Real estate brokerage. Typically, so where I was at, to become a broker, you have to be an agent for so long, work under a broker, As a licensed attorney, now I become a broker, I go take the test, and it's not that hard. And it took me about, I studied for 2.5 hours, and I took it in about 2 hours, and then boom, I own a real estate brokerage. Whereas other people have, and there's a number of professional licenses.
Just because you were a lawyer? Because
I'm a licensed attorney. There's a lot of things that I can do that other people cannot. Like, the path, if you're not a lawyer, the path to becoming a broker is years.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that you can't just pass the bar. If I, let's say, was a genius and I studied all the books on my own, but I didn't go to any school, and I just went and took the bar and passed it, I'm not a lawyer. I have to go to school.
There's a few states, but you still have to have an apprenticeship, right? So there's a few states that there is a path without going to law school that you may take the bar. However, I know California is one, I don't recall it, but there are a few. Because, that's what the profession used to be. It used to be an apprenticeship thing. And then the law schools were kind of a newer concept. Like they're really not as old as you would think, law schools. And that was really, when you look at the history of it, it was really just to keep the profession closed off. It was to gatekeep the profession. But before the 1900s and even into, I think probably as early as, the early 1900s and maybe even to the mid, I think a lot of people could probably not have to go to law school, right? So when you're talking about having to go to law school to take the bar, relatively newer concept in time. Right. But yeah, some states you can be an apprentice for so long. And then if you can pass, you can pass. And I'll tell you, if anyone is going to go to law school, here's a word to the wise. Okay. Get a bar prep program before you start. All of your first year classes, and you need to learn how to analyze cases. You need to know how to do the work. But the classes they teach you in your first year is a lot of what is tested on the bar. And it's like they hide the ball, and bar prep is this information very condensed and the rules that you need to know and outlines and this and that. And so that bar prep thing is going to cost, $1,000, $1,500, but I swear it is the exact blueprint that you need to be successful in your first year of law school. So that's a quick tip for you, to make your first year much easier in law school.
That's a good tip. Hey, what about ChatGPT? Are you guys worried about AI swooping in and snatching your business?
Not our business. No.
Well, not yours, because you guys aren't even really practicing attorneys. You're just entrepreneurs with a law degree.
She is. She's practicing a lot more.
Aren't you worried? Because, you know what I do sometimes?
Yeah.
I do it all the time now. Someone sends me an agreement. I used to send it to my attorney. Now I throw it in ChatGPT and I say, tell me which side's got the advantage. And ChatGPT says, this one for these reasons. Then I go, suggest changes, bang, bang. And I pull them out and I go like that. And then after it's all said and done, I almost feel stupid, but I still send it to my attorney for some reason. But I may not after a while, because right now
streamlining it.
Yeah, but right now I'm feeling, well, that's because she'll say, oh, I had to look at that for 9 hours. I'm like, dude, just read it. It took 30 minutes.
So a couple of things about that. I think it is an extremely powerful tool, and the practice software is Lexis, Westlaw that we use. They're incorporating it now. So it's incredible. And for us, and we're for our real, I guess, what differentiates us, we're true trial attorneys, right? ChatGPT cannot go and try a case. And so for us, that gives us a huge competitive advantage for other people that are really just moving paper, because people just moving paper, or, the billable hour model for like these large firms, and especially like with their business clients and insurance clients, let's bill. They're going to run into some really serious ethics issues very soon, because I know that they have AI capabilities and I know that they're using them. So they're going to really have to change their model. They're going to have to earn their money in another sort of way. So fortunately for us, we're not big. We don't live and die by the billable hour. We do a lot, criminal offense. A lot of times we would do flat fees or different phases.
How do you guys reconcile knowing full well someone's guilty, but you got to defend them?
Okay. So at this point, we only represent innocent clients. So at this point in our career in criminal defense, man, you have to look at it as, this is my role. I'm defending the Constitution. And if you let this person get railroaded in this court system, the court system doesn't matter. And it's a very slippery slope if people do not get due process of the law. So the crazy thing is, a lot of times when you have the most kind of heinous or horrible things, the judges, and oftentimes these people can't afford counsel, the judges actually will call very good private lawyers to represent them, because they do not want error. Appealable grounds, right? So the judges will get them to get a really good attorney, so that there are not appealable grounds for this person, or at least the risk of that. But I've reached a place, man, I think both of us have, where we've had a lot of big success in criminal defense, and we've had some clients. I've had multiple clients that were like legitimately innocent. I mean, legitimately innocent, and they were accused of some pretty gnarly stuff, especially around college campuses. And you wouldn't have believed the amount of evidence it takes to disprove that, but scary stuff.
I thought you were innocent till proven guilty.
You would think so, but stuff gets in the newspaper and on the news and so on and so forth. And but we've had to deal with some pretty ugly cases lately. And when I say lately, I say the last couple of years, and especially once you get good at it, right? People start calling you and retaining you for like these kind of big cases, and you can ask for, big fees and stuff, but then you're at a point and it's like, oh my gosh, like once you really, it's like really clear, it's not even very defensible and you probably definitely did it. I don't have the stomach for it anymore. I can make money other ways. I'm not looking at any more dead people's families as they sit there and cry their eyes out while I'm sitting next to someone who, murdered them for no reason. I just can't do that. I just can't do that.
Lawyers are starting to get ethics, folks.
You heard it here. You heard it here first.
On Dropping Bombs.
Yeah.
Well, dude, listen, I know the main point of the visit is to get the word out to these guys. Listen, if you guys are wanting a check, it takes you about a minute or two to go to setcpros.com, fill it out, and see what the thing says. It's almost like those magic 8 balls. You just got to shake it and look, and it's going to say, you got money.
That's it. It's beautiful.
It's like the new AOL, you got mail. It's like, you got money. And folks, I'd highly recommend everybody that's listening and share this episode out, because it may not be someone that listens on a regular basis. And because you shared it, your cousin, your brother, your mom, your dad, your family gets paid back. Folks, it's real. Go get your ass to setcpros.com, fill it out, and just see what it says. And then obviously follow the prompts. You can reach out to Ryan Umina. You can follow him on Instagram at SETC Pros. YouTube, same thing. TikTok, I'll be damned, same thing. And then, of course, the website, damn, same thing, setcpros.com. If you guys want to see his wife, based on his description, then you're going to have to go follow him. Ryan, appreciate you coming in.
Hey, thanks a lot, Brad.
Folks, until next time, don't say I didn't do nothing for you. Go get your money. Till next time, keep it real.